The challenges facing our teens today mean that more than ever, we need to be there to support them and encourage them. The DrStem Show is here to provide discussions about topics that will help promote healthy relationships, self-image, and success for teens, parents, and the community. Our young people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. The DrStem Show, hosted by Dr. Stem Malatini, will foster these discussions and encourage your participation.
Discovering your authentic self through prayer. That is what we're talking about today. We're talking about finding out who you truly are supposed to be. We're talking about what you're supposed to be doing with your life. So as you watch the segment today, the question to ask yourself is, am I joyful? Am I doing the right things that I'm supposed to be doing? Am I in the right place that I'm supposed to be in? And am I using God's talents that He has given me? And to help us with that, we have my good friend, I call him Father, Reverend Dr. Bernard Reese. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Stem. It's truly a pleasure. I'm elated to be on the Dr. Stem show.
Excellent. You know what? We are the ones that are most grateful because you have a schedule that is so cramped and you took the time today to come to the show. So before we begin, I think I'll ask you to tell our audience who you are and where we get you from today.
Okay. Well, my name is Reese, Reverend Bernard Reese. I am the senior pastor of the Framingham Church of God in Christ in Framingham, Mass. And we are affiliated with the National Church of God in Christ from Memphis, Tennessee. And my presiding bishop is the Honorable Reverend Charles E. Blake. And I also am an assistant principal at Doherty Memorial High School in Worcester, Massachusetts. And also I am the adjunct professor at Worcester State University, where I teaching to diversity and a graduate school.
You talk about finding your authentic self. You truly have, because then you're using your talents in all those different arenas, right?
Yes.
Wow. You know, one of the things that I like to do is, let me just have Dr. Reese tell you how we met, because it was a unique way of meeting where I was trying to find my authentic self, he was trying to find his authentic self, and both of us are members of the National Speakers Association. So Dr. Reese, how did we meet?
Oh, this really is a unique story in its own right. I was looking for some training to become an education consultant, and somehow or another, I discovered the National Speakers Association, that they were having their annual convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I told my wife, Sandra, and my granddaughter, Lou Tebow, we decided to go there. And I didn't know anyone in the entire convention. And I'm going to get my badge at the registration desk, and I'm saying, Lord, please send someone here that can maneuver me through this maze of unknown, uncharted water that I've never been to in my life. And at the desk, I see a young lady, and I heard her say that she's from Peabody, Massachusetts, and then my tender went up. I said, oh my God, I have to meet her. It looked like she'd been here before. And I told her I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts, and I pastor in Framingham, and I'm familiar with Salem and Peabody, and we just hit on right away. And I believe, not through coincidence, in the Hebrew tradition, there's no such thing as coincidental or haphazardly. Everything is ordained by God, and I truly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that our coming together was orchestrated by divine providence of God, and that's how we met. It's memorable, and I will never forget it as long as I live.
Awesome, awesome. And that starts our segment today. As I said, we are talking about discovering your authentic self through prayer. That is discovering how God has created you, uniquely shaped you, uniquely made you who you are. Let me read a synopsis of how to best describe what we're going to be doing today. It says, just as our bodies have many parts, and each part has a special function, so it is with the with the body of Christ. We all are different parts of the body,
right.
but we all have our own unique work that we have to do. And since we are all one, our bodies and mental, spiritualness, what we need to understand is that we all need each other.
True.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today. God has given each of us the ability to do certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to serve others and serve them well, if you're a teacher, it means you do a good job teaching. If you are cleaning the floors, if you're cooking for someone, then you do that job well. And the good Reverend has chosen the title, Discovering Your Authentic Self Through Prayer, for us to talk about today. Why that topic?
Well, basically, I take a text from Jeremiah,
Yes.
the 29th chapter and the 11th through 13th verse, and it reads on this wise,
Yes.
For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me. And I will hearken unto you, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So through that text, basically, you arrive for a topic of discovering your authentic self,
Yes.
the real you, not the one that you just, portray in the public, but the real you, not the veneer, not the superficial, but the true essence of really who you are. And basically, you take this analogy. If you have a Mercedes, and all of a sudden you're driving down the highway and the light dashboard start blinking, everything just going haywire. So therefore, you know that there's some malfunction within the vehicle. So where do you take the car back? Where do you take the Mercedes back? Do you take it to a Kia dealership? Do you take it to a Ford dealership? You take it to a Cadillac dealership?
Yeah.
No, you take it to the manufacturer. You take it to where the car industry that designed it and make it, and they know that car better than any other car because they designed it. So therefore, if I want to know my authentic self, where do I go? Who do I get in contact with? So inadvertently, you get in contact with the creator, the manufacturer, the one that made you, and we all created in the image of God.
Yes.
So therefore, we must go to God, and the way that you communicate with God is through prayer. It is a sincere communication from the heart in having a relationship with God, not a monologue, just you doing all the talking,
yes,
but a dialogue. Sometimes you have to be quiet and hear from God that He can tell you what your purpose in life is and why He created you. So that's why I say discovering your authentic self. And I say this much, until an individual discover their authentic self, to understand their purpose of why they were born, why they share existence on earth, and 3, celebrate their diversity, their uniqueness. And that's what I like to talk about, that uniqueness, that diversity,
yes,
that distinguish me from you.
Yes.
In this world of over 7 billion people, no one has your same iris.
Yes.
No one has your same voice pitch. No one has your same fingerprints.
Yes.
Even your sisters, they don't share your same DNA.
Yes.
So then, therefore, it makes you so unique. And you could define uniqueness as one of a kind. Mm-hmm. So therefore, until you be able to celebrate it,
Yes.
who you are. I didn't ask to be born a male.
Yes.
I didn't ask to be born black. I didn't ask to be born in a family or in a parent with 2 illiterate parents in poverty. I didn't even be asked to be born in the United States. But here I am. But all of the qualities, all of the ingredients that God have given to man, woman, it was in us at creation, in us at birth. Yes. And we have to celebrate them. Yes. But so many people are not satisfied with who they are. Black folks trying to be whiter, short folks trying to be taller, tall folks want to be shorter. And it seems like they're not satisfied in who they are. And when you got to realize that when God made us, we are God's masterpiece. And how can you perfect a masterpiece? That is my question.
Don't forget, we also have females that are going, well, you know, fat people want to be skinnier.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go there. I'll let you do that.
But because he's a reverend, he didn't want to go there. But what it means to all of us and all of you that are listening in today is that wherever you are in your life, whoever you are as a person, there's a reason why you are the way that you are. There's a reason why you were created the way that you are. And today we are going to remind you to celebrate that uniqueness, to celebrate those talents that maybe for some you've never even tapped into it because you're trying so much and so hard to be like someone else or to get into being, you know, the best that you can be, that you have no idea what it is. I like that. So what we're going to be doing is we're talking about discovering your authentic self. And because we have the Reverend Doctor, we're talking about doing it through prayer. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with our guest today, the Reverend Dr. Bernard Reese.
How much difficulty do you have getting your employees or your customers to listen to the solutions you can offer? This may be one of the great frustrations in business. It's time to excel. Dr.Stem now offers solutions with her Soft Skills Leadership Training Program and the Woman's Executive Leadership Training Program. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmalattini@gmail.com. or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
We are talking today about discovering your authentic self through prayer. And as I said in the first segment, we do have the Reverend Dr. Bernard Reese with us in the studios today. And, you know, the first segment, he was explaining to us about our unique self. And he said the only way to find God, to communicate with God, to interact with God is only through prayer. And that's why today he's reminding us to do that through prayer so that we don't struggle with, you know, who am I? How am I going to find my talents? He's saying if you do it through prayer, the only way you can know his plan for your life, because that's who made you. He talked about the Mercedes-Benz. I thought maybe for a minute he talked about the BMW, that you take it to the BMW dealer, but Mercedes-Benz, whoever you are, we are unique and we go back to the Lord. I know Rick Warren, Dr. Rick Warren writes about this. Can you tell us a little bit about what he says?
Okay.
Yeah.
I really, truly get a lot of inspiration from Rick Warren, pastor of Saddleback Church, is that he talks about that God gives us our shape. And he take the acronyms of SHAPE and really kind of defines it. He said, God put us here to make a contribution. And your contribution in life is based upon your individual shape, SHAPE. And the acronym means spiritual gifts, the S, the spiritual gifts. And when God created us, each and every one of us has a unique gift. And even going back to Jeremiah, when he said, Jeremiah 1:5, behold, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth out of the womb, I sanctified you, I separated you. And I ordained you a prophet unto the nation. So before we were birthed out of the womb, God have already ordained you to be the teacher, you to be the preacher, you to be the singer, you to be the artist, you to be the plumber or the mechanic. all the gift is in you. And the one scripture said that your gifts and talents will bring you before great men. So we have those spiritual gifts, and they're unique.
Yes.
And it's there to perform a work for kingdom work and then for others as service. And what service is our rent that we pay and give back while occupies space and time on earth. For the greatest of any individual is being serviced. And the gift that God gives us that shapes us is for service.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about it, Dr. Stem, that I really love, the gift is not for you.
Yes.
It's to edify others. Yes. It is to empower. It is to share. It is to add value to others' lives. I know both think they sing it for themselves.
Yes.
But if you sing for yourself, you will never be compensated.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You know,
others.
Yeah. What I like about that too is I once heard a pastor who was preaching to us say, you know, what God has given us are what the talents are that you're talking about today. And our gift back to Him is to be able to tap into those talents and use those talents right here on earth.
That's right.
And that's the gift that He's waiting for us.
right.
Because a lot of us are always wondering, how do you thank somebody that has given you a life and love that is unsurpassed, and He doesn't judge you for what you're doing? And what we're being reminded today is that if we can find who we are,
Yes.
find our authentic self and use the gifts that we have, then that's the gift that He's looking for. That's the thank you.
And so many people, as we talked the other day, I was talking about 50 or 60% of the people that are not in their right job. They hate their jobs. And you even said it's even up to 80% because they're not tapping into their spiritual gift that God had given them to be a change agent in the realm of spiritual and physical transformation.
Yes.
Because they're out of place.
Yes.
But if you find a job that you love, as I tell my students in high school, you will never work a day in your life.
What I like about it too is, you know, from the time that we met, I mean, I've been on this journey of motivating, inspiring, and empowering people now from 2004. I think I started just narrowing it down to making sure that, you know, that's all I focus on. I have since gone through a training as a passion test facilitator. And that's when I was telling you, in finding your passion, in being helped to find your passion, which is the authentic self, they are telling us that 80% of people are not doing what they love to do.
Right.
They're not in the space where if I meet you on the street and I say, are you happy with your life? Most people will say, no, not really.
Right.
And only 20% are happy. So that means 20% have found their authentic self.
And then, so the H in shape stands for the heart, your emotions. You know, are you giving your whole heart into this gift? It have to be an emotional attached to it. And you don't want anyone doing anything for you if it's not coming from their heart. So be it heartfelt, the emotion. And that's where your passion comes in at, your love for it.
Let me add on to that too, because part of it as well is, in addition to what you have said, Dr. Reese, is most people think from their heads and we try to rationalize and we try to make it make sense, our lives. But what you're saying and what has been said is, if we be still, or if we study the Bible, or if we, you know, talk to the Lord and understand that we are uniquely made, then we're listening from our hearts, and our hearts are always talking to us. The Spirit is always talking to us. So I think what's lacking in this country, I think mostly, is that stillness, that peacefulness, because we're working all the time. Work, and there's no time to just be still.
But as I say to the audience, until you discover your authentic self, understand your purpose in life, and celebrate your uniqueness and your diversity, it would be very difficult for you to find success in any area of your life. And as you just said, to find that tranquility, that peace, that inner peace in your life without discovering your authentic self and
What is
understanding
the
your
A?
purpose.
Tell us the A, because now this is exciting.
And
We're on the
the
roll.
the A stands for the ability. God give us all the ability. Like talk about power, it's the ability to get the job done. So we all have that ability to get our gift within our heart and passion and get the job done to fruition. So it's your abilities. And all of us have that ability.
Yes.
No one is born without the ability to be successful in this life. So that's what A stands for. And then P is, as Dr. Rick Warren said, your personality. And to personality, I try to interweave that with character.
Yes.
Your attitude.
Yes.
You remember when you're coming up and your mother used to say that attitude is everything.
It is, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then your attitude will determine your altitude. And we can do things, but are you doing it with the right attitude? And that makes a lot.
Yes.
So personality. And the only thing that people will take back from the cemetery, once you is put in that ground, the only thing they take back with them is your character, your personality. It's important to be nice, but it's more important, that you are nice. So that's what the P stands for.
You know what? Let me stop you right there because we still have the E to
Yes.
go through.
Yes.
So just in summation, I like we just ended on the personality where the doctor says the attitude, your attitude is everything. So we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk about shape. We are talking today
Yes.
about finding your authentic self through prayer.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
As a youth motivational speaker, author, and coach, Dr. Stem understands that in a world where today's youth and parents are jaded and disappointed by institutions and people they perceive as out of touch with the reality of their lives, motivation is a dose that is much needed. It's time to excel. Dr. Stem Malatini is a refreshing change from the typical speaker. Dr. Stem understands the pressures, heartaches, temptations, hopes, and dreams of the generation that is just now coming of age. Students listen in transfixed silence as she speaks with the clarity and confidence of someone who has worked with teens, parents, and teachers for over 20 years. Her high-energy school assembly programs create a defining moment for schools and provide an experience students never forget. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmmalatini@gmail.com or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
We are talking today about finding your authentic self, finding your true self, your calling, so that you can do what it is that you were created to do. And with us today is Reverend Dr. Bernard Reese, and he was talking to us before we went on break about shape and explain to us how you shape, finding out who you truly are meant to be. Doctor, I'm just going to ask you again to just run real quick about shape so that we can get to that E.
Okay, as I said, S is your spiritual gifts.
Yes.
Uniquely that God's given to you.
Yes.
And H is the heartfelt, the passion.
Yes.
You just don't like it. Man, I love it.
Yes.
And then the A is your abilities, power to get the job done that God had assigned to your hand.
Yes.
And personality is character, who you are, that's really set forth your destiny. It's like I said, it's nice being important, but it's more important to be nice. I like nice people. What about you? And I am nice. And then E is your experience.
Okay.
Over time of learning through either formal or informal education, trial and error, doing, and that experience with where you are over time,
Yes.
your hereditary, your learning, your experience of what you do, that makes you, because through experience, that's where wisdom come in at. And that we won't repeat the mistakes of the past. Nothing wrong with making mistakes.
I know.
Because the worst
You learn from
mistake you can make is don't make no mistakes.
Yes.
And I made a whole lot of mistakes. Okay. But experience teach me to learn from them.
So talking about experience, which is a good, great segue for us to get into that. One of the best ways that I've realized of learning something is through experience, or as I always take pride in coming from Africa, is learning from people that have wisdom, that have gone through it.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is to ask you about your own discovery of your authentic self, and how it has been for you and how you went through it. Do you know by now what your purpose is in life?
Definitely. My purpose, as I say, I am a human catalyst for physical and spiritual transformation. I'm a change agent. A catalyst is something that when it gets into a chemical, it changes the very chemical reaction. And so therefore, I'm that change agent. I want to transform the situation to make it better. And that's my purpose. And my gift is teaching. I'm the teacher. And I don't like it, I love it. I mean, you could shake me or wake me up anytime in the morning, I'll teach. And then I'll be highly compensated for the gift that God gave me. So I've been in ministry for over 40 years. I've been in education as a secular teacher for close to 30 years. So I intertwine those. So that's my purpose, to teach. And what the teacher does is explain. Well, the preacher proclaim, I'm here to dissect it and explain to you, and explain to you like you're 5 years old, that you can understand, because it's impossible to know what you don't know. And as a teacher, I'm like a salt shaker. I make learning tasteful and flavorful. I make you thirsty and what have you. So I'm an authentic teacher because that's what God have designed me to be.
What I liked about you when we met, and also now working with you, and in coming up with your first book, which we'll talk about in the next. I've asked him to come back and be with us in the studio, so we're gonna have to talk about that in another segment. But he's writing his first book. But what I like about where you are in your life, with all the 30, 40 years that you spoke about in your career, is that you are now coming to the point where you're saying it's time to retire and start something new. And this is where finding your authentic self has played a bigger role in your life, because as you plan to retire now, it's a brand new beginning for you, isn't it?
Yes, it's amazing. I'm telling my age. My next birthday, I'll be in a few months 62 years old.
Wow.
But guess what? My best days are ahead of me.
Yes, there you are.
I mean, I can see myself in the future, and I look much better than I look right now.
See, that's another part of the doc right there. I mean, he's not shy to tell you that, I look good, I feel good, and Mama Reese, me and her, his wife, were laughing about it, because then it's not conceited, he said. I just know who I am, and I know where I'm going.
And I love who I am.
And I love who I am. That is excellent.
Because if I try to be you, I'll trip over you, okay, and make a complete fool of myself.
That's very true.
But if I be me, and be the best me that I can be, I can celebrate life and add value to others by being me.
Isn't that what authentic self is
That's
all
what it
about?
is. Because when you reject who you are, you know what you're really saying inadvertently? I reject God. I reject you. You made a mistake with me, Lord. I should have been born different, or I should have been born in Africa. I should have been born a female. I should have been, born rich. God, you blew at me. You did all right with the Kennedys. You did all right, with the Bushes, the Romney. But Lord, you jacked up when you put me in the Reese family.
No.
I love who I am.
Love who I am.
It's not where you come from, it's where you're going.
That's true.
And I wouldn't be nobody else. Because to reject me is to reject God. And I ain't that stupid to do that. Come out of me.
See, I just love, what the doctor is teaching us. And the reason why we always bring the DrStem to all of the people that are watching is because of people like you that bring back that fire within us, that passion of wanting to live again and finding our talents, because there are parents out there and people out there that are watching today that are going, well, I'm too old to start anything now because I've been working for so long and I don't have education, I don't have anything, but you're coming back to us and saying, it's possible.
And what I say, three things: you're never too old to learn, you're never too old to save money, and you're never too old to be saved.
You're right, Doc. as I said, I've asked the doctor to come back and be with us in the studios for 1 second. We only have a few seconds left for our shoot. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years,
With
Doc?
you? My God, a trailblazer, burning, taking over this entire world. I mean, together
Yes.
as partners.
Yes.
If Dave don't mind.
Yes, no. Dave don't
Because
mind.
Sandra don't mind.
Dave don't mind.
That's where I see myself. Book, writing author,
Yes.
on
Book
tour,
signing.
and a professional speaker. I see myself even becoming a certified speaker professional within the next 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Doc. You heard him. He knows exactly where he's going. And you know what? I always love it when God's Son messengers come to me and say, you know what? With you, I know exactly where we're going. That means I'm in the right company. So you will see us with book signings,
Yes.
speaking engagements all around the country. And look out for us. We have been talking about finding your authentic self, finding your true self. And with me, who I'm very grateful for coming in today, is the good doctor, Reverend Dr. Bernard Reese. Thank you so much for watching the DrStem. Until then, make your life a great one.
And thank you,
Thank you.
for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And it's been fun.